Welcome to the Nerd Culture's Dead podcast. I'm your host and thoroughly nerd Zach. Today I'm joined by not so Dr. Daniel Jackson as we go to discuss the Pokemon game franchise as a whole. And I think there is no better way to start this discussion than to jump into Gen 1 and just hit the ball running. Pokemon created Pokemon, therefore it's amazing and perfect, and we can just move on from there. But let's go ahead and talk about the first generation of Pokemon, games of which include, for Japan, Pokemon Red and Green. In the US and Europe, we got Red, Blue, and then later on, we all got Yellow.
Yellow was solid.
So let's go ahead and talk about Pokemon Red and Blue, because those are the ones that we had an actual chance to play, as Green was not released in United States. Not that there's much difference between those games besides
Pretty sure
a few
Green was
cleanups.
just the same thing as Blue, wasn't it?
It was, for the most part, between the Japanese release of the games and the US, some of the sprites got changed, so it wasn't not necessarily that all of the designs were completely changed, but some were cleaned up, and there were I
think I remember seeing changes. Some of those older sprites. A lot of them were pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I know there were sprite changes between Blue and Red. So a lot of people's Charizards in Blue looked better than people's Charizards in Red. But overall, Pokemon created Pokemon. Very good game. Really created the Pokemania craze of the late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, yeah. Once I had Pokemon, that's what transitioned me into the world of gaming. Honestly, really enjoyed Pokemon Blue version.
I didn't necessarily grow up with Pokemon Red and Blue. I got onto those games later because I wasn't old enough at that point. I got introduced during the Gold and Silver era.
Let's see, that was what, 99, I believe? 96.
Yeah. 98 was the release
98,
of
okay, that makes more
Red
sense.
and Blue in the United States, which was the year I was born. So I was like 8 months old when these games first came
I
out.
remember being like 5 or 6.
Old fuck.
Yeah, I was so excited to get that Game Boy Color. That was the first game I got, Pokemon Blue version.
There's no way of denying that Pokemon actually carried that entire console. And is the reason why handheld gaming is as popular as it is because of Pokemon.
There's no doubt about that. That and like Super Mario. But yeah, definitely Pokemon was a driving factor.
So let's go ahead and talk about some of our favorite things about the first generation of Pokemon. I'll be honest. Despite the game being janky and bad, I love it for exactly that, where there's some really stupid shit you can do, like speed being tied to your critical hit chance. So like Persian being able to crit like every single time is dumb as fuck.
Slash and Karate Chop having 100% critical hit rate. Oh, and don't forget, when their defense stats get lowered or your attack gets upped, you actually hit less with critical hits because it ignores all stat changes on all sides, not just higher or lower. It ignores all stat changes, so you'd actually hit less if you boosted your attack up with a critical hit.
Or how there was no max or minimum on the damage calculators or stat calculators. So if you went above the maximum value of 999, you would reset down to 0 and go up from 0. Or vice versa. If someone lowered your stats from less than 0, you would shoot up to 999 and work your way down. So you could have at the very early portion of the game, your Pokemon get hit like 3 times with a stat lowering move and suddenly have 999 defense Rattata just sitting there tanking every hit from Onix.
I actually didn't know it worked like that myself, honestly. You were referring to when the stat, like if they drop your stat past a point.
Yeah, if they drop it below 0, it goes right up to 999 and works its way back down.
Oh, that's cool. It was so busted.
It's such a janky game, but I mean, like, that's part of the charm, is it's a game of another era, but it holds up so well in the fact that not only is it truly representatious of what Pokemon was trying to do, which was be a collecting game tied to a turn-based RPG that gave you a lot of content, really. Pokemon's no short game, especially the early ones. Like, it would sometimes take you 40, 50 hours just to beat a Pokemon game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how long it takes me. Of course, you got the speed runners that you see them beating the game in 4 and 5 hours. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, Pokemon has made itself to such a game that not necessarily defines it. Like, as much as there's ways to make the game go faster, you can make it go slower by running things like Nuzlocks, or if you wanted
Nuzlocks are fun.
If you wanted to just make it where you pick random Pokemon based off of random qualities, or the internet can choose your team for you with generators. There's lots of ways to do it.
Yeah, there's tons of ways you can play the game. It is truly timeless, honestly.
Do you have any favorite Pokemon from the first generation, or what were your starters?
Oh yeah, starter was Charizard, but if I got a chance to go back, I'd pick Blastoise. Blastoise has definitely taken my place as my favorite starter from Gen 1. He's awesome. He's a tank. Charizard, though, I respect. He was always cool in the anime. Always was hyped to see him. Still a cool Pokemon, but I definitely pick Blastoise. As for favorite Pokemon, I'd have to go with Primeape. Again, after the anime, seeing him steal Ash's hat and then beat the shit out of him on all of his Pokemon.
Man, give no fucks.
Mankey. Oh, I loved it. Yep. Primeape's my favorite Gen 1.
Okay. Over here, Bulbasaur. I originally chose Charizard too, like a normal human being, because he didn't like a fire lizard.
Fucking dragon, but not.
I'm so mad that he's a flying type.
But Executor's a dragon.
Everyone's a dragon, but Charizard.
Not you.
My favorite of the starters from Gen 1, though, is in modern day Bulbasaur. Generation 6 helped a lot with that, because I really liked Mega Venusaur.
He was cool. All the Megas were awesome for the starters, honestly. Blastoise was awesome. I actually used him on my competitive team, my main squad. Mega Charizard Y and X. Y was so busted. Drought, Solar Beam.
Yeah, I don't know why people fanboyed over X. Is it just because he's a dragon now?
X was my favorite. I'm one of those fanboys. To be fair, like in competitive, when you go into those three-man teams where you choose 3 and then go into that, fight 3 versus 3, you just set up one Dragon Dance and you sweep their whole team. Like, if they weren't actively ready for a Charizard X, they just lost.
Yeah, unless they set up Stealth Rock.
You wouldn't even switch. And you could play around with it because they can't go for a ground move if you stay as regular Charizard, so sometimes you just don't Mega Evolve until after the Dragon Dance.
Yeah, because you anticipate them going for like an Earthquake or something.
Yeah, go ahead. Go for that Earthquake. Go for a Stone Edge. Oop, I'm Mega Evolving.
So, to get back to Gen 1, my favorite Pokemon from that generation, Snorlax and Lapras.
I loved Snorlax. Still do. He's awesome.
Also another member of Ash's team, this time from the, I believe he was only in Johto, but I fucking absolutely love Snorlax. He's just a fucking absolute...
Yep, he's a unit.
I remember when Smash Bros. Ultimate was coming out, I was at the GameStop in Titusville, and I remember buying that Snorlax because I saw it through the window, and I was like, fuck Smash, I'm buying this.
That's awesome. Yeah, if I had to pick another... Snorlax is probably my top 3. Probably my third favorite. Second is going to be Poliwrath. Always loved that one as well. He was cool.
So Primeape, Snorlax, Poliwrath for you?
Yeah, I've always gravitated towards the fighting and normal types.
Normal types are really,
awesome.
They get a lot of flack for not being special because
they're normal.
But they're so cool.
They have so much versatility in terms of what they can do.
Well, even just a stab body slam is still really nice.
Oh, yeah. Fucking love that move as well. Paralyzed. My favorite normal type move was always Facade, though, after that came out. So many shenanigans with it.
So let's go ahead and jump into the second generation of Pokemon. Generation 2 was known for not only being the only generation to expand on a prior game, but include a lot of new and updated features. Things like day-night cycle, breeding was introduced here.
Super innovative, honestly.
I believe this is the game where color was actually added to it.
Yeah.
I believe that even was yellow and black.
I think yellow had a little bit more color.
Yeah, it had like a saturation.
It wasn't just yellow like how red was red and blue was blue. It had different colors in it, so I think yellow might have that.
Yeah, I know that it was fully colored in gold and silver, though.
Actually, I think we skipped over yellow.
We did, you know what?
Skirt.
We're backtracking here. Pokemon Yellow
Was awesome.
really weird. And it's the only game in the series that tried to follow the anime to any success.
I think it did a pretty good job of that, giving you all 3 starters.
Instead of you fighting just normal Team Rocket grunts, it was like, here in Mount Moon, here's Jesse and James for the first time.
It was awesome. Everyone wants to beat the shit out of it. Pikachu was following you around. They never even replicated that until all the way until Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Like, the Pokemon follow you around. Such a simple thing.
But it's so
It was
nice.
so appealing. You could turn around, you could interact with it. You could see if Pikachu was happy or pissed at you.
Normally pissed. Let's be real.
And it had a couple secret things, like the Pikachu minigame, the surfing minigame. I still am not sure how you were supposed to get a surfing Pikachu at that point without cheating. I know they added ways later on, but like in that gen... And that minigame was legit. I loved it. I had a friend with a Game Shark.
We're going to talk about non-legit things here. Like fucking using strength on that truck by the fucking port to get Mew.
I never got a chance to test that. I don't think it was ever possible.
It wasn't, but that dam didn't stop anybody from...
What a fun rumor that was, though.
Telling people about it.
Before the internet was more mainstream and you couldn't just look it up. All you had was those playground rumors. Oh, did you use strength on the truck? Oh, no, dude, I got a Mew. Trust me, you can't see it, but it's there.
I restarted my game.
Yeah,
Why, you
sorry,
had Mew?
Dude, I can't prove it.
I caught all 151, but, like, I want to do it again.
The truck was there, though.
Truck was there. I like seeing fan art at, like, MegaCon where they'll have posters of, like, Mew, like, gliding out of the other end of the truck when you use strength on it.
What a strange little thing that was left there, though. Like, why did they ever explain why they left a truck?
I mean, it's a ship. They're probably loading freight onto it.
But there was no way for the player to legitimately get there, if I remember correct.
The truck?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was purely accessible. I thought it was just on the same road as you'd use to get on the SS.
Because you needed to go to the SS Anne to get Cut. Mm-hmm. You needed Cut to fight the 3rd gym leader. And as soon as you got Cut, I'm pretty sure the ship set sail.
It did, but the ship wasn't on like that like little winding path that took you onto the boat. It was on like that main stretch of road there.
Yeah, it was on the dock, if you will. The truck, you'd have to surf from the dock, so you'd have to be able to get back past the guy again, and then surf from there. But to do that, you'd have to have surf.
Which you couldn't get until Gen or until the 5th gym.
I think there was a way, but if you missed your opportunity, it was done. Like, the ship would set sail. I think there was a way to get back there with surf. Maybe fainting on the SSN. I can't remember, though.
Maybe.
But anyway.
I don't know. Either way, it's not a legit thing. Alright, we've talked about Yellow now. Getting all the starters was a really cool thing just by picking them up in the overworld. They haven't done that again.
You're right. They haven't. Not for their same gen, anyway. Yeah, I don't think they've ever added after that a way to get all the starters from the game that you're currently playing.
Yeah, because,
outside of trading.
You could always complete the Pokedex, go back to the professor, and grab another one, but you couldn't get the one your rival chose. Or it would be like you'd get one from a previous generation. I remember you could get the Gen 3 starters from the corporation at Gen 4 if you completed the Pokedex.
Yeah. A couple of games would allow you to do that. Gen 3, I think, even gave you the ability to get...
Yeah, they gave you the Johto starters if you completed the Pokedex.
I've never completed the Pokedex all the way. Not legitimately, anyway. Got close.
I don't think I have either. I know Diamond and Pearl were the ones I was closest with. Because I played the fuck out of those.
Yeah, probably Ruby and Sapphire for me.
We briefly mentioned some of the stuff that Generation 2 contributed to furthering Pokemon as a game and its innovations. We had the special split, so where special defense and special attack separated from attack and defense. made
It
Alakazam
was still
not nearly as good.
tied to the type, though.
It was still tied to the type,
which was funny because, like Typhlosion, you could put Thunder Punch on it, and it would go off of its special attack stat.
And making it, in my opinion, the best starter.
Oh, it easily was. None of the other starters were even close. Like, Feraligatr was clearly better than Meganium. But
Meganium was a beast, though. Meganium...
Oh, I loved Meganium, but it was clearly inferior to the other ones. Because to get a good Fire-type Pokemon, the only one you had the option of getting before you got into Kanto was Ponyta.
I feel like that was an issue in a lot of the early games, where fire types were just not available until mid to late game, or at least not good ones.
Because, like, what? In Generation 1, you had access to Ponyta through the Safari Zone.
That was, like, mid-game to late.
You had options of either Vulpix or Growlithe on the bike trail. Like the horizontal one, not the vertical one.
True. Growlithe was all
So that was past Lavender Town.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Growlithe now. Vulpix was never that great, in my opinion. It was a fun Pokemon, but it wasn't a good fire type. Not like Charizard.
I like it more than Growlithe personally, but that's just for
Arcanine was
purely
cool.
aesthetic reasons.
I loved Arcanine, but you just didn't have a very good move pool, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, none of the move pools were great back then either.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely fair.
No Pokemon had a great move pool. Except for Mewtwo.
Yeah. Psychic.
Psychic.
That was
Shadow
the
Ball.
only move you needed.
Let's see. What are the things that Generation 2 contributed?
See, you talked about the breeding. Pretty sure Gen 2 had the bug catching contest as well.
It did.
Just a lot of stuff.
Shiny Pokemon.
Shiny were introduced yet.
The coolest thing about the entire game is going back to Kanto, fighting all the old gyms.
And beating the crap out of all those old gym leaders that had given you trouble in the first game, going back and just demolishing them.
And then you getting your ass kicked by Red.
Red was a badass.
Level 86 Pokemon.
Pretty
Jesus
sure
Christ.
he's still the strongest in-game trainer, like, ever.
Like, the only other fight I remember being mentioned that's even close to that is in Emerald, you could fight Steven.
Steven was tough, too. He was definitely close. I think his Pokemon were, like, in the, 70s?
In the 70s, yeah, but there was no grinding past that besides Battle Tower. So you'd have to Battle Tower from, like, level 50, 60 to
I
level
don't even think
70
Battle
to 80.
Tower could level you.
That's right, you only used other Pokemon, right?
Pokemon, are we talking about Emerald?
Yeah.
That would be Battle Frontier. That was actually why Emerald, if we're going into Gen 3 now.
No, we're sticking to Gen 2, but...
Okay, fair enough. I'll cover that in a sec then. But Battle Tower did not give you XP. It was all grinding off of the Elite Four, basically. Gen 2 actually had some of the worst leveling I've ever experienced. It was so slow. And I think the reason for that was that they had so much game.
Yeah, so, like, let's go ahead and talk about it, right? So you leave Professor Elm, you get your starter, or you go up to Professor Oak, you come back, you go back.
Yeah.
You actually get to the first gym. By then, you're almost level 15 because you've gone through so much fucking space. So the first gym has, like, a Pidgeotto as its big bad Pokemon, and not a fucking Noctowl for some reason. Like, let's talk about that. The fascination of Generation 1 and how we can't get away from it. So the first gym in Gen 2 has a Kanto Pokemon as its main Pokemon, not Noctowl, which
I had never considered that. It's
going to get worse.
It's only Gen 1 Pokemon that he had. He had a Pidgey and a Pidgeotto.
Yeah.
So was it two Pidgeys?
I think it was a Pidgey, a Hoot, and a Pidgeotto.
Okay, at least he had one then.
Either that or it was just Pidgeotto. It could be. But then we get to the second gym, right? Which you had to go through a cave. Already you have a cave.
That was Scyther.
And the big Pokemon is Scyther. Not Ariados. Not a low-level Scizor. Not a Spinarak. A fucking Scyther. Or not a Heracross.
To be fair, Heracross is pretty strong, and also Scizor would have given Quilava just such an easy run. Flame Wheel would have one-hit it from, like, pretty much any level.
I think Flame Wheel would one-hit the Scyther either way, though.
Well, no, that Scyther was actually pretty pretty tough if I remember correct.
It was a milestone gym for sure. Anyone who picked Chikorita by now is like fucking
Hating their life.
scared.
Just fucking hating their life. Oh, another cool thing about Gen 2 that was unique was that the starters evolved at different levels.
I forgot about that. Like, Chikorita didn't evolve until like level 18 or some shit.
Yep. And then I think Quilava was it was 16, and I think it evolved again at like 32.
I don't recall the exact level.
I'm pretty sure Totodile evolved early, though, at like 14, and then at 36.
It's entirely possible. And I mean, that'd be a cool distinction. Or how about making your own Pokeballs with the apricots?
That was cool. The different types. That was a neat feature. Gen 2 really brought so much to the table.
It's just purely better than the first game in every way.
I think it may have actually added the most to Pokemon out of any game from the previous gen.
It's entirely possible. I mean, let's continue down this track here, though. So from the second gym, we get to the third gym, which is what? It's the normal gym?
I believe so, with Whitney.
Whitney, that infamous milk tank?
Stereotyped as one of the hardest gyms, if I'm not mistaken.
Sorry, man. Poison powder ruined her.
I just use Dig.
This is the one gym where I go, oh man, Chikorita's OP as shit.
Poison powder.
The over-leveled Chikorita, or now Bayleaf at this point, who had to slave their way through the first two gyms, walks into Whitney and just beats the shit out of her.
Oh yeah, no, I just used that Miltank was clapping me until I got the TM for Dig from the I think it was the bug area. You had to go around, cut, but I had to dig in the middle of its rollout so it couldn't power it up.
I know there was Headbutt was also in the game, so you could knock into trees.
Yep, you could get Pokemon that way.
Yep.
I remember my friend got a shiny Metapod before I even knew shinies existed. I was
before I ran into that Gyarados.
I hadn't gotten to the Lake of Rage yet.
Fourth gym. So after we go from normal, we go to Ghost. I think it's the only game with a like actual full Ghost gym.
I can't remember well enough. I'm pretty sure there's another one.
I don't know why, but there's no dark gyms. There's like several poison gyms, but I have not recalled rather there's another Ghost gym.
It's because
there's like a stereotype behind it because it's like death and darkness and evilness.
I don't know about that. I think ghosts are just a really powerful type in general, especially early game when you don't have access to other ghost types. Gen 2 being an exception, obviously, you get Ghastly early on, so you can get one.
Well, let's think about it like this, because, I mean, you had the tower right there to go grab a Ghastly, or any of the other poison types, but all of the early move you get on general Pokemon are typically normal moves.
Yep, or weaker ones, like Bug, or, like you said, normal.
Yeah, like, you'll have, even on your starters, right, you'll get, like, Tackle, Scratch, Pound, stuff like that.
And you get one elemental move, like Razor Leaf or Flame Wheel.
At, like, level 12, yeah. You didn't get the better moves till much later in the early games.
Yeah.
Like, I remember you didn't get Ember on, like, Charmander or Cyndaquil on, like, until, like, level 12 in the original game and, like, level 8 in Johto. You didn't get Flamethrower until, like, level 18.
Flamethrower, I'm pretty sure you didn't get it at level 18. That'd have been a crazy move to have at 18. I would have loved to get that move at 18.
Like, what, 22 then? Like, way later?
Pretty sure Flamethrower, being its 90 base power, came a lot later.
Well, it could have not been 90 base power back then either, because Flame, like in Gen 1,
I know
Cyndaquil or Charmander changed. Wouldn't have gotten like a base fire move until Ember, then Flamethrower. Cyndaquil got fortunate and got Flame Wheel in between.
Yeah, Flame Wheel was the middle tier move after Ember, but before any of the big ones. I might have to look that up.
Yeah, because Pokemon's changed so much over the years that it's hard to keep track of all of the information present. But once you beat the fourth gym, this is where Gold and Silver kind of fall off a bit. You have the option of which gym you can face next. 5, 6, and 7 are all fightable at the exact same time. You don't have to go fight the Steel Gym first. You can go right and go fight the 7th gym. Or you can go face the Fighting Gym. So, Ice, Steel, or Fighting. which are all pretty hard types based on the Pokemon that you would have at this point, because it's all normal, bug, a few grass, psychic, your very rare fire or water type, and very few grass types. And all the grass types suck because it's like Sunflora or Jumpluff.
Yeah, you're right.
Your Stantler's going to get beat to hell by any of these gyms.
God, I wish Stantler had been a better Pokemon.
And then Chikorita's giving you no benefit in any of these gyms.
Chikorita had the advantage of the powder moves, though.
It had access to every powder move, Body Slam.
Those were really
Synthesis.
good.
Chikorita had like the best move pool, but had the worst circumstances for gyms.
Yeah, they really piled up the types against it, I feel like, at least early on.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Well, I mean, even like going into the 7th gym, going into the ice gym, Chikorita just fucking goes, again, really? It's not like Chikorita has a second typing like Bulbasaur did later on. Doesn't develop that poison
weird.
typing. They're all pure.
There were no straight up grass types in Gen 1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think Tangela was it?
Tangela, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if it had the poison typing, though.
Yeah, almost all the grass types, maybe besides Tangela. I can't remember. I think that one was just straight up grass.
Yeah, but nobody used Tangela in Gen 1 anyway.
That's fair.
Tangela was like a shit, we need 151st Pokemon. Fine, throw a ball together. It looks like spaghetti.
Monster.
We can't have a food type. Let's make it grass.
Skitty. I like Tangela. He just wasn't great in Gen 1.
He's a cool Pokemon.
I really liked Tangrowth when he got that.
But this is the problem with Gen 2 as a whole. I love it. It's my favorite generation as far as the Gold and Silver. Heart Gold, Soul Silver being my favorite games in general just because of the improvements made. But Gen 2 has a Gen 1 problem. And we've gone over this for the first few gyms. But I mean, look at it like this. What's the cool Pokemon in the 6th gym? Right, we're talking about the fighting gym.
Poliwrath.
The 7th ice gym.
Dugong, yep.
The 8th gym.
That was Kingdra.
That one has a Johto Pokemon. And then the steel gym has Steelix, a Johto Pokemon. So we're 2 out of 8.
Oh, Steelix was Gen 2.
Yeah. Steelix was Gen 2.
Oh, Johto, yeah, I'm sorry.
So we are a quarter of the gyms have the boss monster being Johto Pokemon.
Hey, man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But then we get into the Elite Four, where it's a hodgepodge, and then Lance has not one Johto Pokemon on his roster, I believe.
Well, Lance was from Gen 1.
And so were all the other Elite Four. Except for... No, I think one of them changed it. I think Agatha retired, and I think there was another person there. Like, Koga was on the Elite Four.
Koga took the place of one of them.
I don't think... you know what? I'm curious now if any of the Elite Four in Gen 2 used actual Gen 2 Pokemon, because I feel like
there was 2 Elite Fours, if I remember correct. Wait, was there 2 Elite Fours, or it was Red that was the...
Well, no, so... what happened is, in the 2nd generation Elite Four, when you go into the Elite Four, what ends up happening is...
They get stronger.
Kind of. The first time you face the Elite Four, it is, like, I think it's Bruno, Koga, a Lance, and then Blue. Like, I'm pretty sure Gary, or Blue, is the final member of the Elite Four. And then you become champion after beating them. Then you go over to Gen 1, beat the fuck out of everyone over there, do the Elite Four again, and get access to Mount Silver. When you do Mount Silver, you then get to go and beat up Red.
Or get beat up by Red.
Probably getting beat up by Red, because a level 86 Pikachu is nothing to scoff at.
He had a solid team.
It was...
Pikachu, the 3 starters,
Snorlax,
Lapras, and I thought he had an Espeon. He might have had that instead of a...
It may be different based on the game you played. Because there may be differences between Silver and Gold there.
Oh, it wasn't a Lapras. It was an Espeon. Yeah, I remember being confused by that. I thought he'd have a Lapras. Maybe he got the Lapras in Heart Gold and Soul Silver?
Maybe. Yeah, and I'm looking at the Generation 2 and 4 Elite Four. Apparently it was Will, Koga, Bruno, Karen.
Freaking Bruno.
Generation 2, Will had Xatu, Executor, Slowbro, Jinx, and another Xatu.
I remember him being a pain in the ass.
Koga had Ariados, Fortress, Muck, Venomoth, Crobat. Bruno had Hitmontop, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, Onyx for some reason.
He always had that stupid Onyx.
And then a Machamp. I don't know why they didn't just give him a fucking Steelix.
That would have made too much sense. Bruno's always been the joke of the Pokemon League.
And they had Karen, who had Umbreon, Vileplume, Murkrow, Gengar, and Houndoom, which is the coolest fucking
Houndoom
combo.
was super fucking awesome.
And this is going to come up later, but I'm going to go ahead and read out the Generation 4 alterations here, because we're still talking about Gold and Silver at the moment. But Will had a Bronzong, Jinx, Slowbro, Gardevoir, Xatu, and a Grumpig after you beat him the first time. So after 16 badges, they change. In the first game, they did not.
Okay.
Koga had a Skuntank, Venomoth, Toxicroak, Muck, Crobat, and Swalot. Bruno had Hitmontop, Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, Machamp, Lucario, and then Hariyama.
Oh, they finally took a stupid Onyx away.
Yeah. Karen had a Weavile, Spiritomb, Absol, Honchkrow, Umbreon, and Houndoom.
Man, I guess it's been a while since I replayed Gold. I don't remember their teams being that good.
Yeah, like the Elite Four the second time through would actually whoop your ass, because they're all in the, I believe they're all in the late 60s to early 70s by then.
Yeah, I liked that. I liked the challenge of that.
And I remember this being a problem, because they just raised the Elite Four like crazy, but they didn't raise the gyms in Kanto very much, so like the entirety you go through Kanto, it's like a 7-level increase the entire way.
It was a hyper grind, like... Good lord. Like, that was what I was saying earlier. The grind in Pokemon Gold is just excruciating.
Mm-hmm. Especially in regular Gold and not Heart Gold. Although I will say, I kind of want to go through now and, like, play over original Gold and Silver.
I'd have to get an emulator. I can't find my original Gold version.
Well, I mean, you've also got the
Crystal.
3DS
Crystal
port.
was awesome. I think Crystal was the first game to introduce moving sprites.
Yes, it was. The animated sprites. And the
I almost forgot about that. Crystal was fucking awesome.
Crystal's really expensive now, too.
I
feel bad for selling mine.
It's I never sold mine, but again, it's lost to the ages. God only knows where it could be.
I found one at a flea market when I was like maybe 12 years old before it got really expensive. I bought it for $40.
I think that's how much it costed at full price.
And I figure now it's probably worth around $200. Probably more.
Yeah, I'll bet. It's a collector's item now. They don't make it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, like, a Game Boy Advance nowadays costs a shitload of money, too. Like, I had to buy one on eBay for, like, $200.
I do have my SP still, and it still works.
Mm-hmm.
Love that thing.
But I think we'll go ahead and wrap up Gen 2 here by saying that it added by far the most features to Pokemon.
I can't think of a game that...
outside of the original game, and just heralded a ton of improvements. Great game, and home to a lot of the best Pokemon in the franchise.
Second favorite of the main series Pokemon games, for sure.
Personal favorite for me is Heart Gold, Soul Silver, but that's technically Gen 4, and we'll get there. So, the third generation, I know your favorite.
Which is my favorite, yep.
Let's go ahead and open in with talks about Ruby and Sapphire. We'll get to Emerald later, as that is, for whatever reason, in the original few series of titles, they added a continuation game, kind of like an update, because they couldn't update these because there wasn't Wi-Fi on the consoles yet.
Yeah, I guess that was probably why they did that, huh?
Yeah, to fix all the problems.
That's funny. I hadn't thought about it that way.
But Ruby and Sapphire completely changed the way the sprites looked and narrowed down the game, changed the aspect ratio. I think the game looked a lot cleaner with the 32-bit pixel art as opposed to the 16-bit that the games had been running prior.
Yeah, I liked it. The music was great.
Yeah.
And all the horns.
I fucking loved the soundtrack for Fire Red, Leaf Green, not Heart Gold, but Ruby and Sapphire.
Oh, yeah.
They have them on, like, I bought, like, a few songs on iTunes. I like them that much.
Oh, man. I love the environments of the Ruby and Sapphire games. Just, it all felt great. I loved every bit of it.
I didn't get to play Ruby and Sapphire till much later. I think it was around the time that Gen 5 came out that I actually had first played the Gen 3 games, because I had passive money and I saw Ruby at GameStop for like $5, because at that point Pokemon hadn't hardly retained to their value and become collector items yet.
Yeah.
But I chose Torchic because if you choose anything else, then you're a respectable human being.
Fucking Torchic. I got a Swampert.
That's totally
Mudkip.
fair. Mudkip is adorable as fuck. I just loved the fire chicken.
And I liked Mudkip, and I probably would have picked, if I went back with how I am now, I might have picked Trico. I really like Sceptile.
I respect the Trico players a lot. I hate Sceptile. Grovile's cool. Trico is awesome. Sceptile sucks.
Why?
He just...
I liked his design. He was cool.
I think he had the worst glow up of all of the Gen 3 starters, where, like...
Blaziken was cool.
For me, the design for Generation 3 starters was the first starter in the line looked really, really cool. Torchic is cute as fuck. Trico
All of them
looks
are.
badass. Mudkip is adorable. Then you get into the second iteration. Grovyle by far looks the best. Combusken's stupid. Marstomp.
Combusken was kind of dumb.
Marstomp
was kind of dopey.
Marstop, I wanted to curb stomp.
Curb stomp, Marstomp. Yeah, fair enough. Grovyle was awesome. I've actually done playthroughs where I just kept it as a Grovyle because I liked its design a lot.
Yeah, he looks so cool. And then we get into the third iteration, and then Sceptile is such a far departure from Sceptile and Grovile's design that it just looks awkward to me.
It
looks like they
liked
tried
the
combining
design,
it with Godzilla, and I don't like it.
but I respect your opinion on that. Blaziken was cool. Swampert was pretty badass.
Swampert had the best transition. I just happened to like the firefighting type.
Well, it was new. It was fresh. Firefighting.
I liked it when it wasn't new, to be honest with you. I didn't care that we kept getting firefighting. They were all good
I
Pokemon.
like the typing as well. I'm in the same boat as you. Like, a lot of people hate the firefighting because of how much we've seen it done over and over. But like I said, I love fighting types. Fire is an awesome type. Firefighting is cool.
We could go back to firefighting now in the design space, and I'd be fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Blaziken the most. He's awesome.
Yeah. Swampert had objectively, like, the best typing ever introduced to the series.
Yeah, I mean, as far as starters, he's by far the best typing.
He got absolutely obliterated by Sceptile, but in every other situation besides fighting a grass type, he was just unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
The only other typing I could think of that might be as good as that one would be like Kingdra with a water dragon typing.
Well, up to this point, yeah, because I mean, we get later on the line.
Later on, you
where
get a whole bunch of great stuff.
Yeah, like fucking fire water.
as they begin to fill in the gaps on what hasn't been done. Firewater is a weird typing. I don't know if I'd call that a good typing, but it was an interesting one. I think there was only one that had that. It was a legendary. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the only time that's actually still been done.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, no. Fucking water ground is just unstoppable. Crazy good. Unless you're fighting a grass type.
Then you're fucked.
Yeah, I really liked the pacing of the game.
It felt a lot better. They definitely railroaded the player more, but I think that's for the best with these kinds of games. I don't want it when they hold your hand, but if you have a dedicated quest route...
I was going to disagree, but then I
better.
remembered Gold version just lets you go wherever the fuck you want.
Yeah, basically, once you're done talking to Professor Oak and you go back to Elm for the second time, it's basically like, hey, go have fun. The only thing that's blocking you is this bush that you have to get cut for.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. Up until that point, like especially compared to Gold version, it was a lot more railroaded for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, in a game like that, it's fine. And that's a problem that Legends Arceus later has, where because it doesn't railroad you and it's a level system that's so easily abused.
Yeah, it was. I did like Legends Arceus, but yeah, it felt weird.
It just wasn't coherent, but Ruby and Sapphire tended to have the best way of keeping the player constrained on a level system and keep the challenge constant.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Any notable favorite Pokemon?
I'd have to say Zangoose. I loved that one, especially with later on. Like in its time period, I didn't have a whole lot of love for it because I don't even think I found it on my first playthrough. It was a pretty rare one, if I remember correct. But later on, when Dream World abilities became a thing, the secret ones, he became my favorite. So of the Gen 3 Pokemon, Zangoose is my favorite for sure.
For me, it's got to be Torkoal. The fucking crying fire turtle. Ash's Torkoal
God, I fucking hated Flannery. Even with Marshtomp, it was like, stop using Sunny Day!
Oh, you know what? That's one thing to talk about, Gen 3. The fascination with the weather.
That's because they introduced cast form. And they ran with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it affected the whole aspect of the game.
And they were really flexing on their implementation of the weather. It's kind of like the day and night cycle from Gold version. They got something new. They ran with it. They introduced a Pokemon solely built around it.
Yeah, they introduced new EV forms for the day and night cycle, and then they introduced Pokemon that have different effects with the weather.
Yeah.
A different way that Pokemon interact with the world, and the world interacts with Pokemon.
Yep, weather effects I love in games as well. Day, night, weather effects, love it.
Or like later when we get to the legendaries in the game, Kyogre and Groudon, they too are affected by the weather with their passive abilities that either just instantly create sunny day effects or instantly create
drizzle and drought. Effects. Yep, and then Rayquaza, who just said "fuck you" to both of them and turned it off. But yeah, one thing I remember about Gen 3, again, before the age of the internet having everything available to you for like walkthroughs, like, oh, well, here's a secret thing. Well, I don't know how to do that. Gen 3 had the Reggies. You had to fucking know Braille to know what the fuck that said. Or you had to be one of the cool kids that had the book for the
official
game.
Guide?
Yep. I don't remember if it was me or someone else in the playground that had it. But figuring that out where you had to have a goddamn Relicanth and a Wailord at different parts of your party just to find these things. The secrets in that game it felt so good. And let me tell you this. Nobody had ever heard of Latios or Latias at that time. No one that I talked to. There was no indicator that Pokemon existed at all.
And I'm going to add to that. I didn't know they were Gen 3 Pokemon until recently, because I thought they were Gen 4, because that's where I always saw them.
Well, I was running around under the bicycle path, trying to find Electrikes or something like that, or maybe it was a Plusle or Mine, and I was trying to find something, but this is me as a kid. I see the shadow of this huge bird-like Pokemon. I'm like, oh, it was so exciting, because I'm like, what is this? It's a legendary, because it was level 40, and then it ran away instantly, and my heart was broken. Gold version had prepared me for that, though. I kind of knew what the deal was, but just that feeling, because it had not been introduced anywhere in the story like the legendary dogs had.
Oh, can I just rant real quick about how much I hate roaming legendaries?
Yeah. Yeah, I fucking hate them.
Especially in the older games where they didn't give you a good, manageable way to track them down.
You have to click all the way into the Pokédex, go to their entry again, click their location, go back and forth on the route.
If you ever use Fly, it changes too.
Yep.
So you had to walk.
Yep, all you would do is you just keep walking the boundary of a route and keep resetting it. Every single time you'd re-enter, you'd check the Pokédex to make sure it was in the... And then, as soon as it finally was, then you wouldn't change it anymore, and then you go into the grass.
Yeah, and then just hope that it's your first encounter.
Yeah, you could pop like a Max Repel or something. Or Repel just to stop weaker Pokemon from showing up. It was a pain in the ass.
But yeah, Latias, I love their design. I think they're good Pokemon.
They were cool.
Rayquaza has like the coolest design of all of the legendary Pokemon.
Yeah, Rayquaza's one of my, if not my favorite legendary, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Despite how simple Kyogre is, Kyogre works really well in opposition to Groudon, who is also really
Kyogre
cool.
was badass, though. It's just this huge freaking...
Yeah, it's
I don't
just a
even know how
whale.
to describe it.
It's just a whale.
I wanted to say whale, but then it... Yeah, kind of. It's more like a whale than anything else. I'll give you that.
It's just a big-ass fish. He wants everything to be wet.
They Groudon. Fucking Godzilla over here. And then their little standoff where Groudon's on a little island in the middle of the water.
You're totally
Groudon,
surrounded,
what are you
Groudon. Come out with your hands up. No. What? No, I make more land. No, I make more water.
Yeah, going to Sky Pillar to find Rayquaza.
Mm-hmm.
It just, everything on that game was so cool. And then, I'm pretty sure it was introduced that gen. It might have been Emerald only. The event with Deoxys.
I'm not sure if that was Emerald only, with where you go to the
spaceport.
I think Emerald was only with the spaceport, but there was some like island you could go to with the 3 dots that ended up like...
That was Fire Red.
Was that Fire Red?
I'm pretty sure that was Fire Red and Leaf Green.
It may be, because it was part of the... It may have been part of the Orange Islands then.
Yeah. No, it was a spaceport, if I remember correctly, in Emerald. And I think it was only Emerald, not so much Ruby or Sapphire, that supported that event. But it just had so much stuff. And another thing that Emerald did that no other game recreated, and it was my favorite part of the game, the Battle Frontier. Where the hell is that game, freak?
I hate how they teased it in
They
Omega
did.
Ruby.
Omega Ruby had it. They had the designs for it. It's like, give it to me. It's right there. Please. You could just update the game. That's it.
Here, take my money!
Please, I'll buy another game.
Game Freak, you know us too well. You gave us the same game 2 years later. We will buy it again.
Honestly, they really should have just skipped, like, remaking Heart Gold and Soul Silver and just making Crystal again. Or adding it as an option. I feel like that'd be an easy cash grab for them.
Yeah.
They would have gotten my cash, that's for fucking sure.
Well, I tell you what, though. I mean, for Game Freak to make more money, if they make Heart Gold, Soul Silver instead of making a Crystal 2, they can make someone buy 2 copies of the same game twice, where they bought Gold and Silver. Now they bought Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
And then they released the other game later on. Like I said, it's a cash grab. People would still buy it.
You're saying sell them Colloquial Crystal after Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
And here's my hopes. When they hit their next 10-year anniversary or whatever for those games, and they go start making their rounds again, recreating old games, which I know they will.
Yeah, because like we had Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire.
They redid Diamond and Pearl.
Shining
Pearl, Brilliant Diamond, or I might have had it backwards. Those were...
They weren't alliterations, and I hate them.
They were dead set on making it exactly the same game, but I hated the little chibi sprites that they used.
Well, and this is the thing.
It felt so wrong.
Pokemon has thrived on remaking their games, but with the former innovations that have come forth since then.
Yes.
Instead, they're just like, let's remake Diamond and Pearl. And somehow still have less graphics.
I know, it's just like...
And then they give us Arceus, like, 8 months later, and it shows us how simple that was.
I agree. Like...
But not to get off topic from
we'll
Ruby
get
and
to that
Sapphire.
one.
They're good games. Around that same time in the 3rd generation, we got Fire Red and Leaf Green, which is the first ever anniversary title and re-release of a game. Which, I mean, it wasn't too far off, so 2004 to 1996, that's not even 10 years. That's 8 years in between the original release of Red and Green.
Was that all the amount of time it was?
Yeah, it's 8 years between 1996 and 2004.
Yeah, that was a big step from blue version, red version to...
Well,
Ruby,
not
Sapphire.
even red and blue, because if we go by the American release, then 1998 to 2004. That's even less. It's just 6 years. But, I mean, Fire Red and Leaf Green added all of the added benefits of the changes that Pokemon has made over the course of the 6 years between the release of the games and re-release it to the public. And I think that it was the game I spent the most
love
as a
Fire
childhood.
Red, Leaf Green. They felt so good. It felt so good going back.
The game was so crisp. Like, I think that was my second Pokemon game I'd ever touched, because I was too young to really understand what I was doing with Gold and Silver. And then when I turned like 4 or 5 years old, I got Pokemon Fire Red and like a Game Boy Advance with a Game Shark from my aunt. She spoiled me that year and ruined my life by making me into Pokemon.
Yeah, that's where my life turned towards that of a gamer.
But I spent so much time with those games. They're, quite frankly, unforgettable. My first ever shiny was a Spearow in fucking Fire Red. I think that's my only shiny, too.
I've only caught 2 shinies total. I thought I remembered the first one, but I guess I don't. It was one in the original Pokemon Ruby. Mm-hmm. And then I caught another one years later in Omega Ruby, and that one was a Zigzagoon.
My boy Zigzagoon.
Thousands of hours in Pokemon, and those are besides the Red Gyarados, obviously. Mm. That was a freebie. Even the egg, which I actually recently found out that the egg in Pokemon Gold version had a very heightened chance to be shiny.
Really?
I think someone told me it was like 1 out of 16, 1 out of 32, somewhere in there.
And the original Gold or Heart Gold?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because they were trying to show off their shiny Pokemon implementation, which would explain why I had 2 friends that both got shiny fucking Magbies and I didn't get shit. I got a Togepi.
I didn't know that Pokemon could be anything but Togepi, because that's the only thing I ever got out of that egg was Togepi.
It might have been a second egg. I know the first one that it gives you is Togepi. There's one that the daycare gives you, though, that has a chance to be one of the baby Pokemon.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
You got Smoochum, Magby,
Elekid. Pichu.
Pichu, yep.
Igglybuff.
Igglybuff and Cleffa.
Are those Gen 2 or Gen 3?
I don't remember for Igglybuff. I thought Igglybuff was Gen... No, maybe not.
I know they introduced a lot of the baby Pokemon in Gen 2, but I thought they added more.
I know those first ones you mentioned for sure.
Because they added the like parent evolutions then with like...
Oh, those were so good. Rhyperior.
Mm-hmm. We can get into those here in a little bit, but yeah, Gen 3, completely solid. Pokemon Advance, or in the Game Boy Advance era.
All the legendaries were good.
Yeah. I mean, it reiterated some of the things that we liked or disliked with roaming legendaries, had secrets in the game.
Had diving, too. Underwater.
Diving is something that I think nostalgia glasses make it better than it really is.
It was annoying, to be fair, finding the places to dive, and then...
That's what pissed me off the most, was finding the right spot.
Yes, but it was cool. Going along the bottom of the water.
And having exclusive Pokemon that thrive underwater, yeah. Having like Huntail and Clamperl, stuff like that.
Clamperl, Relicanth. Yeah, that was a cool feature. Annoying at times, like you said, finding the right area.
Or really, really shitty Pokemon to evolve, like Feebas, or to find, where it's only like 4 tiles in the game.
I never found one. I never found a Feebas. And then I got one from a friend. I finally got one for the Pokédex. Like I said, I was actually trying that game. I almost got it complete. I was only a handful short. But the Pokéblocks thing. Oh, contests. That was another thing that game implemented.
Oh, yeah. Contests.
That was cool.
To coincide with the anime there.
Yep. But the whole thing with Feebas is that you had to max out its beauty through Pokéblocks. If you give it one wrong... Bro, I had given it all blue, which is the beauty one, and I had a light blue one.
Oh, no.
And I was like, all right, well, I'm out of blue, and I'm pretty sure I'm almost done. I'll just give it this one. That should be fine.
Nope.
I was desperate. I wanted my Milotic so bad.
Gave it a cool factor instead of beauty.
Light blue, I don't even know what else it did, but it wasn't enough, and it ruined it. It could not evolve after that, and there was no way to go back. I was so pissed. Actually, I'm pretty sure Milotic was the only one I didn't catch now that I'm thinking back on it.
Milotic is such a cool Pokemon, too, though.
I ended up cheatsy doodling that one later. Just to complete the Pokedex, but I'm pretty sure that was the only non-legendary, like Deoxys, obviously. I didn't have that one. I didn't get a chance to do that event.
Yeah, because you had to be at Toys R Us or GameStop at like certain days.
But
Back when you had to like have your Game Boy plugged in by an employee at a store
yep.
instead of just showing up in the corner, linking
cable.
up your DS to the Wi-Fi, going, "All right, cool, I have my event by."
Thanks.
Getting the cards from a Planet X or GameStop.
Oh my, I forgot about the little cards they just give you for codes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead now and jump into the 4th generation. We're almost at an hour, and we're halfway through. So, Pokemon in the 4th generation introduced Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. And by this point in the Pokemon franchise, we really start getting into Pokemon fatigue, where games have been coming out constantly on a 2 or 3 year rotation, and this is where the Pokemon games start to see a drop off in play, but I think an increase in quality. Where Pokemon Diamond and Pearl implemented a lot of the former technologies that were in the other games, like Day-Night Cycle makes its return here in Platinum.
Yeah, I noticed that they had taken that away in Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah,
I always never understood that.
it had to do with the cartridges they use. Because they changed the shape of the cartridge, they couldn't fit the internalized battery for the timer in those.
They did have a battery, though.
Yeah, but it was a different kind of battery for the timer. Because the reason why the old cartridges died so quickly in comparison to, like, you could plug a Ruby cartridge in from 2004 and it still works today is because it doesn't have that clock in it. Yeah, that clock didn't stop. It knew what fucking time it was. I still have my blue
version from when I was a kid. It still works, but if I shake the Game Boy at all, like if I move it even slightly the wrong way, it freezes instantly. Like it's almost like the pieces are loose inside.
Have to have someone go in with a fucking microscopic screwdriver, just quarter turn everything.
Leave the Game Boy on the table and click the button.
Or emulator.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to jump on that boat at some point.
Yeah,
replay.
Or we're gonna have to do like Soul Links or something like that.
Oh, that would be fun. We should.
So let's go ahead. I always chose Piplup, no matter what, and nothing against Turtwig. He's my boy. Chimchar, pretty cool. But Piplup is a fucking water steel penguin. Yep. It's the coolest thing ever.
Yep, that was the one I went with.
Sorry, guys. Piplup's the best.
If Piplup hadn't been there, it would have been Fire Monkey.
And this is my takeaway from Gen 4 as a whole. There are so many water Pokemon. And, Gen 3 had a lot of water Pokemon, but Gen 4, for whatever reason, feels like everything was watertight.
Gen 4 and 5 get mixed up a lot in my head, and I'm foggy on the details. Of all the games, I replayed those two the least.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever actually think I ever went back and replayed Diamond and Pearl or Black and White, but so forgive me if I'm a little foggy on some of the details.
It's totally fine. But favorite Pokemon from that generation for me are Gastrodon and Rampardos. Rampardos being my favorite fossil Pokemon ever.
Rampardos was awesome.
Yeah, for whatever reason, all my friends liked Shelgon, and I was like, y'all are fucking stupid.
Shelgon?
Alright. Shieldon, that was
Shieldon, oh, yeah, Bastiodon.
Yeah.
Like, Shelgon was Gen 3.
My boy, that turns into Salamence. What's wrong with you? But no, the fucking shield dinosaur compared to the ramming dinosaur.
He was cool. He just wasn't good at all. Like, he wasn't fun.
Yeah, versus the fucking dinosaur that hits things with its head that learns, like, fucking Iron Head, Steel Headbutt, or Zen Headbutt.
I believe he also has the highest attack stat ever. Like, besides certain legendary, like, Mega Evolution Pokemon. I'd have to double check. But, in fact, I'm going to do that now. But I'm pretty sure him and, like, maybe Slacking have the highest attack stats. Let's see.
The trade-off being that Rampardos is actually really slow, oddly enough, and just is one-hittable by, like, most things in the game. Considering there's a lot of water Pokemon running around in Gen 4.
Yes, his speed is what definitely limited him. But in competitive, you slap a Choice Scarf on this bitch.
Have someone else set up a fucking Tailwind.
Yeah, you could do that too. Choice Scarf, though, because you only need one move.
Yeah.
I don't remember if Head Smash was in that gen, but earlier you could do, like, Rock Slide even.
Mm-hmm.
And it it just demolished everything in its way.
While you're looking that up, what's your favorite Pokemon from Gen 4?
I'm going to have to say Drapion. Like, if I had to pick a second, it'd be Floatzel. Loved Floatzel.
I loved Buizel. Floatzel kind of turned me off from the evolution line, but I like the attitude it has.
Yeah, I loved the design. It was fast. I used it on my competitive team later on.
Mm-hmm.
It had a very versatile move pool. I ran Brick Break, Ice Punch, Crunch, and Waterfall, and later on I got Liquidation.
Was Crunch introduced in Gen 4 or Gen 3? Because Crunch is like the worst thing that Pokemon's ever done, because every fucking Pokemon gets it.
Crunch?
Yeah.
I might be thinking of a different one. That was a 80 base power Dark move that had a chance of...
Yeah, it's the upgraded version of Bite.
Yeah. I think that was Gen 2.
Was it?
Yeah, because Bite turned that into a Dark type. Bite before that had been a normal type, if I'm remembering correctly.
I feel like Bite should still be normal.
I think Houndoom's thing was Crunch.
You know what? Yeah, because that was its exclusive mood for a while. Okay, that makes more sense, but Crunch sucks. I hate that Crunch is on like every fucking Pokemon.
I wish more Pokemon got it. I love that move. That good coverage.
I don't know. I just like the idea that Pokemon can't cover everything. And when every Pokemon has a Dark type move at 80 base power, it's kind of annoying.
Alright, so Drapion, on the other hand, kind of like Swampert, had one of the coolest typings ever. Poison Dark.
Not Poison Bug, despite being a Scorpion.
Well, it was a bug. Its first stage is, and it becomes a Dark type.
You know what? That's one thing that I wish a lot more of Bug-type Pokemon did later on.
Turned into something other than a bug?
Yeah, like, for example, Scyther being it's a bug flying type, right?
Mm-hmm.
Turns into a Steel Bug when it turns into Scizor. But it could totally turn into, like, a Steel Fighting, rather than a Steel Bug.
Yeah, I can see that. I do like certain Pokemon keeping their bug types, because it's nice to have some bug types, otherwise there would be no in-game bug types at all.
Or we could have a good bug type, like more Heracrosses running around.
Heracross was pretty good, but he was more used as a fighting type than a bug type, I'd think.
That's because no good fucking stab bug moves came
out.
He
had Mega Horn, and it's got low accuracy. 85, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Anything less than 100 is a guaranteed miss in competitive. It will let you down 100% of the time.
So, other than Drapion losing his bug type when he evolved, what other benefits were there to Drapion?
Psychic types no longer are super effective to him.
And there was a lot of psychic types.
It had one weakness, and that was ground.
I mean, everything was ground, though. Let's be real.
And there was a shenanigan, I don't remember when it came out, but Red Balloon, the air balloon.
Okay.
You make it hold that, it has no weaknesses.
I think that was Gen 4. Because I know a lot of the battle items like Assault Vest and shit were coming out then at the same time.
I've actually seen strategies used online where people skill switch Wonder Guard onto it. They skill switch Wonder Guard, and they have an air balloon, and nothing can hit it after that in double battles.
Yeah, weren't they doing the same thing with Machamp's, though?
Machamp's gimmick was no guard fissure.
Okay, that's what it was.
And I think they actually disabled you from actually giving it a no guard on ones that you transfer from games where it could learn fissure.
Mm-hmm.
But people, you know how people are. They still...
Yeah, they'll still hack the game to do it.
Cheatsy doodle it in. But yes, it was Choice Scarf, no guard fissure. Just one-shotting everything. Because no guard makes it so you can't miss.
Yeah. I wonder if there's ways to do that with Wall Rain and Sheer Cold. Because all the one-hit moves are just bullshit.
Yeah. No, I don't think Wall Rain got any abilities that made it never miss. But there was cheeky stuff like with the mole Pokemon, Excadrill.
Mm-hmm.
Was that this gen?
That was Gen 5.
Okay, that was Gen 5. Where you could use like Hone Claws, boost your accuracy and your attack, and then use that, but it'd have to live long enough for you to do that.
And good luck, because it's a fucking rock ground.
Yes. Poison Dark is probably one of my favorite type combinations, though. Only weak to ground. It got an awesome moveset. Ice Fang, especially. Ice was such a pivotal move to have. Ice types were objectively bad, just because they had so many stupid weaknesses
to
common things.
I think Gen 4 just has the strength of adding a lot of really good Pokemon type-wise. Like Gastrodon was a
water ground.
We got good. Quagsire, then we got Swampert, now we got Gastrodon.
Quagsire was actually Gen 2 now that I think about it.
It was.
So Gen 2 had its own. I didn't even mention that.
Yeah.
Had its own water ground shenanigans.
Well, we even forgot to mention our favorite Pokemon from them, Ampharos.
Ursaring.
But
my basic bitch normal types.
Gen 4, I think, is the beginning of actually very good competitive Pokemon play. Like, Gen 3, it for sure existed, but Gen 4, I think, really opened up the door to some of the more creative strategies. With the fact that we had all the good items added.
Yeah,
beyond, like,
it added all the battle-specific items.
It really pushed double battles beyond what Gen 3 did with double battles by introducing them. Forgot about that feature. Double battles are very important.
Did that not exist in Gold version? That did exist in Ruby and Sapphire.
It did in Ruby and Sapphire. I think they're the one who introduced it with the Plusle and Minun.
Yeah, the trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Plusle and Minun, the mascots, were the ones that was built around. Abilities. That was the other thing Gen 3 introduced.
Didn't that also take away... Or no, Gen 4 was when they got away with the actual physical special split for typings.
Yeah, they actually gave different abilities, like of the same type, special and physical, so you could run, Thunder Punch, and it wasn't a special move anymore. It'd be physical instead, which I really liked because that opened up a lot of...
Didn't they also add the distinction for gender Pokemon in Gen 4, where like female Pokemon will have like different like spots on them and stuff like that?
I don't know if it was that generation, but yes, around this time, one of these generations, like 4, 5, or 6, it started. It was either 4 or 5, it had to be. Different designs on Pokemon. In fact, Gen 3 might have had that.
You know what? It was Gen 3, because that was when we got the introduction of Heart-Tail Pikachu. I remember specifically with that Pikachu sprite.
I think you're right, yeah. Because I remember...
Because Torchic had a spot on it.
Yes,
the infamous
weird
Torchic
spot that you couldn't see. I think you could only see it when it was on your side of the field, right?
Yeah, you couldn't see it on the opposing side, and it was just a brown spot.
That was the only change across all its evolution. It
didn't stick over to Combusken or Blaziken either.
And the other starters didn't even have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. And then like Spinda, loved that one too. Had different designs on every single one of them. Every single one was unique.
I like the idea of that with like later on in Gen 6 with the butterfly Pokemon having different patterns based on your actual position in the real world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was cool. That was awesome. They implemented so many cool things.
Yeah, Pokemon gets a lot of flack for repeating the same thing over and over again, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it does a lot of work.
I really wish they changed less, honestly, like across generations. Like when they find something good, I wish they would stick to it.
Yeah, like, I tell you what, my favorite thing was on the 3DS, they put gold and silver on the eShop for, I think it was $17. And...
Original or?
Original.
Oh, wow.
No change whatsoever. It's the exact game. Except they added a online capability to it, so you can play competitive with the old game. Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, I might have to check that out.
Yeah, boot up your 3DS and look on the eShop.
I have to get that back from hand.
But I tell you what, man. The fact that they did that...
I didn't know that competitive thing. I mean, I bet that's kind of...
It was just online battling. There was no, like, VGC League or anything.
It's probably a little boring, because every single Pokemon was holding leftovers at that time.
Yep.
But, yeah, that's still cool. That's very cool.
Let's see. Other notable things about Gen 4... Poffins being made.
That was kind of a spin-off of Pokeblocks.
Yeah, just another mini game. Using the stylus and having 2 screens, the Poketch. Stuff like that.
Was that the one where... I did like the little thing, that the step counter and everything else.
Yeah, those were incredibly useful. And it had little mini games tied to it.
It was interesting to see, like, at the end of the game, how many steps you took and whatnot, and just stuff like that.
Yeah. Or, at that point, the action replay replaced the Game Shark for hacking, and it was widely available at stores.
Yep, I remember I got booted off of online because I wanted to make one of my Pokemon shiny. Mm-hmm. And I used that when I finally got one, and I could not go online anymore. They ban you.
Yep. I remember, but the funny thing is they ban you on the DS, but if you go into Pokemon Battle Revolution, the tie-in game with the Wii, It won't do it.
Oh.
I created a team of 6 Darkrai. And it was
Did
totally
that game have
fine.
online? I never got that one. I always wanted it, but I never pulled the trigger.
It was online, yeah.
That's cool.
It still has an online community to this day.
Wow.
Because, I mean, people like the...
I thought the Wii had been taken offline at this point.
I don't think its servers are totally down yet. They're still making Wii games, bro.
What?
The last Wii game ever comes out this year.
No way.
Another Dance Dance Revolution.
I guess if there was a Wii game, it would be that one, huh?
Yeah, but notable takeaway from Generation 4, Heart Gold and Sil Silver, having a physical tie-in item with the release of the game being that Pokemon odometer.
I got that one with mine. I never used it.
It was incredibly useful, and it was the only way to access certain Pokemon.
Mine still has the pull tab, and it's a...
You know how expensive that is, man?
I'd have to find it.
I tell you what, you find it, you have yourself $200.
Ooh.
No, I'm not shitting you. Look it up on eBay. The
That'd be
Pokemon
kinda nice.
Step Odometer unsynced to a game is ridiculously valuable.
Oh, can it only sync once? Oh, wow.
Without having to completely take out the internal battery and replace it, yeah.
Wow.
They're valuable, but it's also just because of how rare it is. Like, the unopened box for Pokemon Heart Gold is thousands of
Oh, I
dollars.
bet. Unopened, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And it was, for whatever reason, Heart Gold Sil Silver didn't sell really well, so even just the DS cartridge is expensive.
Yeah, I still have my my box, my cartridge for Heart Gold, and the step thing somewhere. I wish I could... I think I have an idea of where it is. But yeah, you get what I'm saying, though. It's, damn. Kind of crazy knowing that's worth so much.
Mm-hmm. No, it was a crazy time for sure, but absolutely loved Pokemon Heart Gold. Was just a love letter to the Pokemon franchise.
Mhm.
Done the best, I think, of any of the remakes.
They re-implemented Pokemon following you. It's like, thank you, Game Freak.
And it could be any Pokemon, not just Pikachu.
Yep.
I remember hacking in Arceus in my Diamond, and then hacking it, or not hacking, but trading it over to Heart Gold, having Arceus follow me around the ruins, and that had its own little minigame. Not
What?
minigame, but it had an in-game event where if you talked to the ruin person with Arceus, it would take you over to some mountain, and you get to choose between Giratina, Palkia, and Dialga. You just got to pick one and just take it.
Well,
It was the coolest thing.
that's neat. I never even knew that.
There was a lot of like in-game events with the 4th generation, and it was just a really good game. I'm really happy with Generation 4, and Heart Gold, Sil Silver will always hold the spot in my heart for the
Yeah, those are
best Pokemon
definitely
game.
my second favorite. For sure.
I think just due to how long this conversation has gone, we'll have to take a little bit of a break here.
Break it in 2 episodes.
Yeah, we're going to make this a 2-parter, and we're going to talk about the second half of Pokemon later. But, Daniel, any closing remarks about Pokemon thus far?
Nope, we've pretty much made all the comments I have so far.
Alrighty. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. You can find the Nerd Culture is Dead podcast not only where you're listening to it now on Spotify or Apple, but you can find it on Anchor. We stream weekly on Twitch. We have a YouTube channel that we upload shenanigan videos to. Just go ahead and check us out at Nerd Culture's Dead. Daniel, any plugs or anything you want to mention?
Nah, I'm good.
No, I tell you what, he wants to mention one thing. Atavar Ascension, our awesome
yeah.
D&D campaign. Daniel is a partaker of this.
I am.
He plays the awesome character of Ajax and is a pretty awesome person. So look forward to him being on the show more often. And thank you so much for listening. If you didn't hatch a shiny Pokemon, haha, fuck you. Have a good night, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care.